Today on Sports Card Investor, we're diving deeper into grading as I've brought my own collection into Joe Davis so he can tell me how these might grade. Sports card investors, and welcome to another special episode about how the grading process works. Now, we did one of these episodes last week where we talked about the 5 steps you need to go through before submitting your cards for grading. And we are back here today again to do a follow-up because now I've gone through those 5 steps and I'm about to have Joe Davis check my work and tell me if I did it right and if these cards are ready to go off to PSA and hopefully get me Gem Mint 10s. Joe, welcome back to Sports Card Investor.
Great to be back again, Geoff.
Absolutely. Joe is a wonderful card dealer here in the Atlanta area, GotBaseballCards.com, and he submits thousands and thousands of cards every month to PSA grading. And as I talked about in the last episode, there's 2 ways that you can submit your cards to PSA for grading. One is you can go direct to PSA, or the other option is that you submit through a bulk submission service. And Joe and I have partnered to form the Sports Card Investor Bulk Grading Submission Service. You can find out all about it on sportscardinvestor.com by clicking the grading button on the main menu bar. Now, the great thing about the Sports Card Investor Grading Service, actually there's lots of great things. You get oftentimes better turnaround and better pricing than going through PSA directly. But one of the great things is that Joe and his team here at GotBaseballCards will pre-screen your cards for free. They'll check the cards to make sure there are no defects that could prevent those cards from, getting a really low grade. You don't want, or actually prevent them from getting a high grade, right? You don't want those cards to get a really low grade. So what I have done here is I took the advice that Joe gave during the last episode about grading, and I prepared many cards from my own collection that I think are grade worthy. I went through and pre-screened these cards myself. I cleaned these cards myself. I put them into these card savers myself. And I think they're ready for Joe to inspect, and hopefully I get the thumbs up on the inspection and submit to PSA. But this guy's the master, so we'll see. We'll see if he agrees that these are ready to go or if he kicks some back, and we'll see the whole process he and his team go through before they ship things off to PSA. Joe, are you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Let's get going with the pre-screen process. All right, Joe, so here we go. These cards, I inspected the corners, I inspected the centering, I inspected the edges, and I inspected the surface. I also clean them and I put them into these card savers.
All right.
But now is the time of reckoning. Now Joe is going to go through and tell me, did I do a good job? Did I miss some things? And if so, what? So hopefully you can learn some lessons from this experience.
All right. We're going to start off with a Prism Zion rookie. Let's see what we got here. Centering's very good. Check the rookie card logo. It's clean. It's good. Yeah, I think this one passes inspection.
Hey, there you go. One for one,
down.
ladies and gentlemen, 1 for 1. And now this is the process you go through with every card that's sent to you through this bulk submission service we're doing?
If people request pre-screening, we have a lot of customers that don't ask for it. So, they just want them submitted. But if they ask for pre-screening, as they're being entered, we check them out and eliminate things that we catch.
Gotcha. And pre-screening is free. It's included with the service. You have to, as Joe said, you have to opt into pre-screening, right, which you check a box on the form, but it is included free.
All right. Your Kyrie Hot Stars looks good.
Okay. 2 for 2, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. We've got a Tatis Optic. I'm seeing a print line in this one.
Uh-oh. And where are we?
Surface is good, but you can see we've got this noticeable line. Looks like it's running right through his body.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You only catch that in certain light, but I thought that was part of the checkerboard pattern, but I see what you're saying. There's a line that's actually not necessarily part of the checkerboard pattern. It's running across the entire card horizontally.
Yep. And you see this with a lot of optic parallels in multiple sports. You see this. So that one may be in the eye of the grader, but I would think that's no better than a 9,
Ooh.
likely an 8.
Okay.
Because it's to me, it's a print flaw.
All right, so there we go. That is one that probably should not go off for grading. I'm probably better off selling that one raw right now.
Again, what you might also want to do is look at PSA 10s that have been graded on that card and see if they have the same issue.
Interesting.
And see if it can get by or not. Because
Good
again,
advice.
the right grader may interpret it differently than I am, but we got another one of the same card, another Tatis. I mean, it's also got the same issue, but in a different place.
Look at that.
It's one checkerboard box up higher on the card.
Panini, what are you doing here, Panini? You're killing me, Panini. But this is why they pre-screen. This is why we do the pre-screening, right? Because I had those in my pile of things to go off to PSA. I had not seen that defect.
Okay, we got another optic Lonnie Walker purple here. This one, good centering. Corners look fine. I mean, as with optic, corners and edges are usually fine. You notice this one? Look at the background when it hits the light just right.
Oh gosh, there's a print line down. That would have been really difficult to see under even normal lighting. But here we've got some lights, that we brought in here for this shoot today,
so
and sure enough,
see it run all the way down the card.
All right, I'm now 2 for 5 instead of 2-0 here. Okay, my grading. I'm starting to question my own grading skills, ladies and gentlemen.
Those are very minute flaws, but they are there. All right, your Kevin Porter looks good.
Whew, okay, good. Got to have that one.
Back to 50%.
Back to 50%. And that's one of those court sides from Select that I love so much.
Talon Horton Tucker Silver Select. Your centering is off just a hair. You can look at the dots on this one. See, you got a little less border here than here.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still. I think that might be within the parameters. We could still get a 10.
So a card like that the centering is close. It's not perfect. It's close. So you're
close enough to me.
All the other elements of the card look good. Yeah. So it's probably somewhere between a 9 and a 10. You think?
Yeah, I think so.
So then the question kind of becomes, how badly do you need that card to get a 10 for it to be worth the grading cost?
Yeah.
And are you willing to take that chance or not if it's kind of on the borderline? From a centering perspective.
Got an Alexander Walker Prism. This one looks good. The rookie logo's good. It's centered well. Don't see any surface issues. So you're moving up.
All right, we're picking up momentum, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Another Prism, Basley. You got good centering, no scratches, no fingerprints. Back looks good too.
I did wipe all of these down with a microfiber cloth per Joe's suggestion in the last episode. You have to do that very carefully. You hold the card by the edges to make sure not to get any further fingerprints on it. Wipe it down with a microfiber cloth. Then put them into penny sleeves and then put them into these Card Saver, the semi-rigid card holders.
All right, we've got a Miles Gaskin Prism Parallel Auto. Front looks really good. On the back, I see a little bit of tiny amount of chipping on that top black border.
There is.
So
you know what I didn't do? I didn't turn the card over. I wiped down the back, but I didn't inspect the back. Oftentimes I don't inspect the back of the card, but that is a perfect lesson as to why you need to do it. The front of that card was perfect. The back of that card has a little chip noticeable on the top.
Okay, Michael Porter Select. Nice and clean, well centered, good to go. Let's go to a Tyler Hero Prism Green. All right, there's a tiny, if you hit it just right, see there's like a little flake, little speck.
It's like it's smallest of scratches, it looks like, right on the surface.
Yeah.
Again, something I wouldn't have seen. Now I should have seen it. I own, by the way, one of these, which Joe likes to use, and if I hadn't used this to go over that card, but had I done so, I probably would have seen it a lot easier. This is one of those, magnifiers.
Yeah, those are especially great with vintage to look at corners and edges and so forth. But they work well on modern as well. This one, probably 8 or 9. 8. If they let that slide, you might still get a 9, but I can't see it getting a 10. So I'm going to put that in the in-between pile.
Okay.
I mean, it's still a tough parallel. again, a lot of times when you consider the value, is it still worth doing, even though it may not be a 10? So
yeah, I mean, and that's the type of card that a 9, probably anything below a 9, no, right?
Correct.
So that's, and I'm going to look closely at the other aspects of that. Yeah, it's slightly off center, which I was willing to accept it being slightly off center, but the combination of it slightly off center with a surface scratch probably means that this one actually needs to go in the reject pile.
Prism RJ Barrett. Centering's really good. Surface looks good, other than I kept moving it. You can see just a tiny, tiny horizontal scratch right underneath the rookie card logo. You have to hold it yourself to see it. I had to turn it.
Joe, how do you see these things? Goodness gracious. Oh, you're right. Yeah, that is...
It's minimal. And
Yeah.
like I said, if a
That
grader's
one's
in a hurry, it
real
could
minimal.
slide through, but it is there.
Ooh, all right.
It's a tiny, tiny,
All
tiny
right.
scratch there.
I might put that one through anyway, but...
Yeah. If it were mine, I would still try that.
Okay.
So, but it is very minimal. All right, we got a Hero die. Love these select die cuts.
And now, are the die cuts harder to get good grades on? You've got a lot of different kind of surfaces, a lot of different edges, happening.
Exactly. You've got more edges to deal with, in a sense, but even with the die cutting. This one I'm going to say is borderline. The front looks fine. You got a little white on the back corner.
Yeah,
See
I
it?
guess that corner is a little soft on the back there.
So it's
All
up
right.
to you. But I mean, it is numbered out of 99. I'd probably still try it, but it's a tough card.
All right.
Put that in the middle. One of my favorite sets. It's first year select.
First year select, yeah.
Got a nice LeBron here. Good centering. Same kind of scratches as the RJ. See it, horizontal scratch, and it runs all the way. I think it's all the way across. The color hides it in the middle, but it's on both borders. So probably an 8.
Probably an 8. Now it's in the reject pile, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the reject pile. These are subtle things that Joe's looking for here. This is really important for you to remember.
Yeah.
If you're going to evaluate a card, you've really got to look carefully, because these are honestly things I missed. And I looked at these cards. I pulled every single one of them out and looked at them in the light. Joe's finding some really subtle things here, but that's the degree of attention, the degree of specificity you have to give your review process.
Scratch just to the left of his kneecap. See it?
Yeah, I do. I see it, Joe. I see it. I don't want to see it, but I see it.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news today.
Oh
but
man, look at this. I'm getting killed on
look
my
at all the
grading
money.
submission.
Look at all the money you're saving on grading.
Well, hey, that's the other thing,
Grading.
right? Had this batch gone off without pre-screening, I probably would have ended up with, not a very good gem rate, that's for sure. I would have gotten a lot back as 8s or 9s or maybe even worse, that I would have been quite disappointed in.
All right. Not seeing any scratches here. You got a little print divot right here,
Yeah.
and then another one underneath the logo.
Yeah.
So not a scratch.
I guess on the top edge, there's kind of a slight,
yeah, like a chippy.
Yeah, a little
bit.
slight chipping on the top
Yeah.
edge of that too, now that I look at it under the light.
So, again, not a flawless card, but
What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Can I sell you some cards today?
This, ladies and gentlemen, I will be truthful. Most of the investment cards I buy them already graded, because this is the risk you run. But of course, if you're opening boxes, which a lot of these actually came out of, in fact, I think all of these came out of boxes that I opened. And so, of course, you want to get those graded. And there are a lot of people that are obviously better evaluators of card condition than I am, who make really good money by buying raw cards and turning them into Gem Mint 10s. They obviously have the experience of having done it many times over and can evaluate and see these types of little surface issues that Joe's able to just quickly see like that, certain things that I didn't notice at the time I first went through them.
All right, good news is both your select 12-13s of Kobe and Durant look clean.
Okay.
They passed the eye test.
There we go.
So 2 good ones in a row.
Got something there to grade, finally.
And we're finishing up with a select Anthony Davis.
Give me some good news at the end here, Joe. This is his rookie year. Select 2012 is Anthony Davis's rookie year. We've got a nice in-flight Anthony Davis that I pulled from a box of 2012 Select.
Unfortunately, it has a nice little scratch.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
Right there. Little horizontal scratch.
Oh, yes. When you turn it,
Yeah.
you get the light. Oh, goodness gracious.
So we got
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rejects. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 that passed and 2 that are up to you.
2 that are in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So depending on what I do with these 2, that's going to disturb. Now, if I remember that RJ, I think had a
Just a
little
tiny
surface
little,
issue
yep.
combined with the centering not being great. I'm gonna put that in the. I guess I'll put that in the rejects. The Tyler Hero is numbered to 99. I'm going to go ahead and get that one graded. Plus, that gives me more grading than rejects, which makes me feel better about myself. So we're just going to go forward with that and say that I had at least a slightly greater than 50% rate here. So Joe, this process, if I were sending the cards in with the Sports Card Investor grading program, they arrive at your store, and if I check the box to say, yes, please pre-screen my cards, what would happen now? You would have just gone through those. What would happen with the reject pile?
What we do is we contact you and let you know, this many were rejected. We give you, and we'll ship them back for no charge. And in this case, you've got a lot of high dollars. So we ask you, since they're your cards, do you want to add insurance coverage? We basically add insurance coverage at like $1 per 100. So, we'll pay the shipping part, but if you say, oh no, that's $5,000 worth of stuff, we ask you to cover, the insurance on the rejects, and we go ahead and ship those back. So, they're not sitting here waiting on your other graded cards to come back. We get those out of the way, back to you. Then we take the ones that are going to get graded. We look at the forms that you would have filled out, and we decide, what level they want to get graded on, what speed of service you want to pay for. Then we enter them in our database with PSA, and then we ship out to PSA multiple times per week. Then after PSA checks it in, and it's in their system, which right now is taking them about 15 weeks, unless you're paying for an expedited order. Once it's checked in, we can then start providing you with email status updates as your order progresses through their system. Okay. All the way from check-in to when it's been shipped back to us. Then when we receive, we contact you and get the cards back to you.
All right, Joe, I'm going to grab my computer and take me through. I want you to take me through the process of putting these in so we can finalize this order.
Sure thing.
All right, Joe, so I got my computer here. I'm going to go ahead and put in these cards into the form. Now, normally, this is something that people would do before shipping the cards to you.
Correct.
I cheated in this process. I haven't done that yet because I brought my cards here to Joe in the store. But now it's time I need to do this so that Joe can process them and get them off to PSA. So what I'm going to do is go here to the Sports Card Investor website. I'm going to click on Grading in the main menu bar. Then I get down here into the form part. And the form part's going to ask for my basic, contact information and that type of thing. But then there is a submission template that you click here to download, and you fill it out, you save it, and then you attach it here as a file before you submit the form. And that's really where that magic is. So let me switch over to that submission. All right, so I got the form up here, Joe. So I'm going to put my name up here, looks like, and my email address. So insurance, that is if...
When we ship back.
Okay,
on the tail end, yeah.
So yes, I would like insurance. Obviously, I'm sure that costs additional.
Correct, yeah.
You ship free, I believe, but if the person wants insurance, they have to pay for it.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And all the shipping and insurance to and from PSA is included.
This
is just the final shipment back to the customer, yes.
Okay, and then pre-screening. I am going to give pre-screening an absolute yes on this because obviously you did that for me and it
was needed.
I needed pre-screening, right? So please put yes for pre-screening if you want Joe to take a look at it. So then I guess down here, I'm just going to enter the card details of each card. Is that right?
Correct.
So the first card is going to be the Zion Williamson card over here. So I'm going to go ahead and just enter Zion Williamson. That's a 2019. Oh, you know what? I was supposed to put the brand over here, wasn't I?
Right.
Prism Basketball. And then year was 2019. Card number
248.
248. Zion Williamson. There we go. No serial number. Now, estimated value, this card right now, raw, is around $200. Looking in the Sports Card Investor app, I can tell that. So I'm going to put $200 here, but that means that this card's not qualifying for this ultra modern,
No.
lowest price service level.
Right, too valuable.
I got to go up to this faster service, right? Max $499 value. It's an extra $10. It cost me $10 more to grade to that level, but I also get the card back faster.
Correct. Usually about 2 months quicker.
Okay, so over here under service level, I'm going to type in faster.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I got my first card in there. Good. All right, I'm going to put in my second card. We're not going to, of course, do all of the cards here in the sake of time, but let's do one more. Let's do this Kobe card. So that is, I've got quantity one of those. That is Select Basketball.
Yep, 2012.
From 2012.
Card number 54.
Card number 54. Kobe Bryant's.
No serial number.
No serial number. I haven't looked up what the estimated value of that one is. I'm going to guess $50.
Yeah.
I'll put $50 down, I can double check that later.
And so this could go on just regular modern service since it's prior to.
So here we go, modern 2007 and older, and 2017 and older, max $99. So that's only $16 then to grade that card, including the pre-screening and the shipping and everything. So that's great. So I'm going to put that as modern service.
Yep.
Okay, great. Excellent. Fantastic.
And you can fill out, as you're doing multiple service levels, all on one form.
All in one form. So
if you have one card you really want back in a hurry, you can put that at the expedited level. You can do the $65 level and that. So.
Okay, so I would save this form on my hard drive once it's filled out, and then I would go back over to the Sports Card Investor website. This was that form that we were on just a minute ago on the Sports Card Investor website here. And what I would do is I would fill in these personal contact information details, and then right here I would click to attach that file which was that submission template that I just saved, and then I hit submit.
Yep. And that way, immediately we have a copy of the form. We know what's on the way to us. That way, even if you forget to include the hard copy, we can check it in when we receive, and that way we've already got all your contact information, and we're good to go. And then you're ready to head to the post office or UPS or FedEx and ship away.
Okay, easy enough indeed. So let's talk about shipping. I know we talked about that a little bit on the last episode, but here we go. So these are the cards that I am going to be sending you for grading. So obviously if I wasn't here in person with you, what would I do? Bundle all of these together and you think wrap these in bubble wrap, put them in a box, or what would you recommend?
Yeah, I don't recommend using tape on them. It just makes it that much more complicated and more risky when we're taking it off. So use bubble wrap. What we recommend is use a small inner box, and then put that down inside like a larger priority box or UPS shipping box. Then put like some peanuts around that so it's nice and secure. Box can't shift in there, and of course include. We do recommend if you've got a printer, print out the submission form so then we have a hard copy with it when we receive it as well. Then recommend whichever method you want to ship. We recommend something trackable. We recommend adding signature confirmation so that way you've got proof of delivery and peace of mind. And then a lot of people like to take it to the post office themselves or wherever to get tracking in person, and instead of just sticking it in their mailbox.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. Have the post office scan in the package. You can print the postage ahead of time or you can buy it at the post office, but either way, have them scan it so it gets in their system. So that way it's getting tracked properly. Exactly. And then you can track it all the way to delivery here at Joe's shop when his team opens up the package and begins processing it. Yep. So once you receive these cards from me, from someone who would send them in to you, once they've done all this on the sportscardinvestor.com website, they've shipped the cards in, then what's your own process here?
Well, we get multiple shipments every day. We take them one at a time. We break down, we pull out the cards, pull out the paperwork. If they don't include the paperwork, then we go print it from the database where we've already received their information. We check in the order to make sure their information matches what's there, because we've had a number of times where customers left cards off the form, but they shipped them to us. So in those instances, we let the customer know, hey, you left out this card and that card. We're going to add it, to your shipment so that they can update their record. Sometimes they enter that they've shipped 3 and there's really 2, so we correct it, and we always keep a paper trail going on email if there's ever a discrepancy. Then we pre-screen, we contact the customer if there's rejects, get those back to the customer. And then the others we break down, like we received your shipment and we said, okay, this is going to go on the faster service, so this is identified for you with faster service. This is modern. Then your hero if you're going ultra modern. So right there, you're going to be part of 3 different shipments right there. And so we process, a master shipment for faster, for modern, for ultra modern, depending on how many cards are included. And for each level, they get sent out. We ship out to PSA multiple times per week. We don't leave the cards sitting here. They don't get dusty sitting here. They're checked in promptly. They're shipped out promptly.
Yeah, and obviously the time frames for all of these change. PSA is often changing the time frames for how quickly things go through. But one of the nice things about going through a bulk submission service like the one we have here at Sports Card Investor with Joe is that you actually get quicker turnaround time from PSA on some of the service levels. So we get priority by shipping them in than you do in some of these service levels. Now, Joe, what if I was an international customer? What if I'm watching this overseas outside of the US and I wanted to get my cards graded?
We can absolutely help with that. We do it all the time. There's a lot of different ways. If you're an international customer, you can still ship to us and still download the same form, fill out the same thing, ship to us. The only difference in handling international customers is that the return shipping back to them is not free, because that can get pretty pricey. So what we do is we contact the customer. Their pricing for the grading is exactly the same. The only difference is going to be the return shipping back. And what we do is when the cards come back from PSA, we contact the customer. We let them know, this is the estimated value. How much insurance coverage do you want? We typically use DHL for worldwide shipping. It's very fast and very reliable. We've shipped to countries all over the planet with our U.S. Brakes group doing that, with our soccer customers all over the planet. So we use that now. We actually have a new method that we're using. We have a lot of international customers who have a COMC account. So what some of them have done is not only ship us their cards from their COMC account, but then they ask us once they're graded, we ship their graded cards back for them to their COMC account. Then they're not incurring any customs fees coming into their country.
Interesting.
And they also can manage their cards through their COMC account, whether they want to price them, sell them, and then eventually may want them back. But that's one way we can ship for free back to their COMC account unless they need additional insurance coverage.
Interesting. That's a great option for international sports card investors to not have to deal with those customs fees or those overseas shipments back by having going back and forth between COMC and Joe's service here through Sports Card Investor. That's a really nice option. I'm glad you're able to offer that.
Yeah, it's worked very well for a lot of our customers. So.
Yeah, good, awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to go. I'm excited about getting those cards submitted for grading, and it will be a little while before they come back, obviously, because it's not the quickest turnaround at PSA, but going through Joe, I at least will get priority. And when we do eventually get them back, we'll have to do a grading reveal video. Yeah. People love that.
See how good my pre-screening was.
That's right. We'll see we'll see how good Joe's pre-screening was. Absolutely. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this deep dive into grading. If you didn't watch the first episode last week, make sure to watch that one as well, where we went through 5 really great steps that you need to go through before submitting your cards for grading. This has been fun, Joe. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been great.
Absolutely. And of course, check out the grading service again by going to sportscardinvestor.com and clicking on grading in the main menu bar. And get the free Sports Card Investor app in the App Store by searching for Sports Card Investor in the App Store so that you can look up card prices before you submit. Or subscribe to Market Movers, because Market Movers has the largest database of sports cards in the world. Go to sportscardinvestor.com and click on Market Movers in the main menu bar. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thanks again, Joe.
Sure thing.
We'll see you back soon with our next episode.